This week on Not Just Another Sex Podcast. A lot of people don't really ask me about my child or ask me if I'm okay. I'm a businesswoman and then I'm a mom, so I don't get any moments off. You realize like I got a whole 5-year-old, right? Even just offering to volunteer to watch my kid or like, hey, you need, you know what I'm saying? You want me to come over and do, like, that goes so far.
Oh, you got to make sure you don't have no crazy ratchet ass friends. That's going to
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, the stripper's on the way. Bitch, why did you tell me I could bring my kid?
Hey, sugar. I feel like there are so many different things that I need to learn as an adult. I'm this nasty on a regular day, like on a Tuesday. I am your host, Samia Burton, and don't worry, it's not just another sex podcast. Welcome back to Not Just Another Sex Podcast. My name is Samia, and I am your host today. And thank you so much for joining us again for another episode. I say it every time, and I do not care. I'm so excited because I have an amazing guest. Fangirl, half lusty, disrespectfully fine. Okay? I'm here today with the Jessica Rose.
Hi, baby.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited that we're announcing us being together.
To the world. Get it out the way.
No,
okay?
I'm happy to be here. I'm super excited. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you. So there is so much background here. I reached out to Jessica and was like, look, you're amazing. And I would love to have you on my show like months ago. And it was just, you know, when you start out, the funds are crazy. And, you know, like she lives in Cali. So I'm in Atlanta here. And it was like the funds weren't funding. The show was brand new. And like the universe worked so crazy because the numbers for the show went crazy on just only a few months in.
Right.
And then she also contacted us and did bulk recording with us at the Content House. And she was like, hey, I'm coming to Atlanta. I would love to have you on it. Like the girl who I'm calling, like, hey, can you please be on my show? She's like, I want you on my show.
Right.
I don't think there's ever any better feeling than that when you reach out to somebody holding your breath because you want to work with them and they're like, I want to work with you. Like,
aww.
So
yeah, the feeling is definitely mutual. So
I'm super excited. Jessica is on the show today because she is an unconventional mother. And we will get into that and what that means and who she is and how she got to be this way. But first things first, let's get into these segments.
Okay,
all right?
Let's do the segments.
So we're going to start off with the adult tip of the day. Because we do have a unconventional mom on the episode, we're going to start off with a parenting thing. So
okay.
The other day we were talking about like, and this is just a personal conversation. We were talking about like just as a mom, sometimes I realize that some of my friends and people that really do care about me, they don't really acknowledge that I'm a mother at all. And it's not that they don't care or that they don't like it or anything. It's just if you have friends that are not parents, and I know for me and all the people that I know that are parents, they are the only parent in their friend group.
Right.
Or at least a lot of us start off that way.
Yeah. It starts that way. That's
it definitely starts that way. And what's crazy is that a lot of people don't really ask me about my child or ask me if I'm okay, the things that they ask me to do or how, you know, last minute they invite me to things. It's like you realize like I got a whole 5-year-old, right? Like, you know, and but I just thought that maybe this was a good, and that's for like dads, moms, anybody. But I thought that another conversation just for the adult tip of the day could be maybe some tips for people to support their friends, things that, you know, go a long way that you don't even know, but also on the other end, ways that you can make your friends feel included and not always on the back burner to your child. Like they are in your life and they are supportive. So how do we make both people feel seen? So I'll start off. For me, one of the ways I make my friends feel included, I do put them on my schedule to call them. And I'm gonna call you at this time when my child is down, not, you know what I'm saying? I think that making time is sometimes doing it when you're not going to be, hey, sit down. Don't do da. If you call me randomly and I'm doing that, that's one thing. But if I'm making time for you and making you feel seen or whatever, I feel like putting somebody on their schedule and when your child is asleep or doing something else or when you on the road or it's like even just texting them before.
The
like,
road
hey,
is the one.
I do all my catch
in the
up
car.
calls in the car. But also
you driving somewhere, that's the best time to have a conversation. That's when I remember, honestly, because you already ahead of the game by having it on the calendar. It's when I'm in the car and I'm driving. I looked at GPS. I said, I got 29 minutes. Let me call Lauren.
Yeah.
Let me check on Kathy.
Kathy, that's such a grown-up name.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my other mom friend. But yeah, so the intentionality behind that is like really good with the schedule thing. But I feel like I'm already so overstimulated. The idea of like adding stuff to my calendar.
Yeah.
But, I think I make an effort more so with people who make an effort with me. And I think we get caught up in that. And then it's not necessarily the best thing because then you both end up falling off. Yeah. But, yeah, that's a really good tip. Like, I think the only thing that I could think of would be the openness of my child being allowed to come if the invite is at the very least. Like, people that go out of their way to be like, hey, so we're having game night here. I can set up a puzzle for Nyla, but she's more than welcome to come.
That's nice.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to make sure you don't have no crazy ratchet ass friends that's going to
right.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, the stripper's on the way. Bitch, why did you tell me I could bring my kid?
Yeah.
Like, you know? But just the effort to like make it seem like it's okay.
Yeah.
I think that when I first became a mom, I did not have other mom friends. And I feel like a lot of people fell to the wayside, and a lot of it had to do with them not even having an interest in my child.
Right.
And it's like, this has now become, the most important thing in my world. So if I'm someone that's important in your world, like, you're going to show some type of care or concern. You might not think of that it's a lot. I know a birthday party may be at Chuck E. Cheese, but it takes nothing to stop by for 30 minutes. Like, I know you don't have a kid, but if you're invited, like, my kid knowing you is like...
It's huge.
Yeah, it's a huge
They may need to
thing.
come to you for something instead of me or, And I think that it's difficult when you're the first because when other people have children, now you have to jump in and give support that sometimes you may not have gotten.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't intentional. For me, I know that I'll definitely, when someone comes to my mind now, I try to send them a message immediately. And I'll send a voice note. And I'm just like, hey, I know we haven't talked in a minute, or just want to thank you like for showing up or doing this or whatever. And I know for me also being intentional about my other friends that have kids, because I realize how often are you reaching out to them? And I know even just offering to volunteer to watch my kid, or like, hey, you need, you know what I'm saying, you want me to come over and do, like, that goes so far. Like, I'm a businesswoman and then I'm a mom, so I don't get any moments off. So
right.
But I just want us to be like more considerate of that. And then also like for your friends that don't have any children, show up for them, because they probably show up and bring your kid birthday gifts and things like that. And single people, well, I'm single, hell, but
listen,
single people, and especially if you don't have children, doesn't mean you should not be celebrated. If anything, go even harder. Like, you know what I mean? And don't like invalidate their feelings. Like, well, you ain't got no kids. Why you can't do? That's not okay. Like,
because here's the thing: people without kids will be so quick to end a friendship because you couldn't go to Dubai for their birthday.
I don't got no friends like that.
But you can't make it out to the Cheesecake Factory when my kid turned 5. But I was supposed to make sure that flights.
That's a good birthday.
Booked. I was supposed to go in with 10 other bitches for an Airbnb in Dubai.
But you can't come to Chuck E. Cheese.
But you can't come to the Cheesecake Factory or Chuck E. Cheese, So
I will say my friends are super supportive. So.
You're so you're such like a healthy person, like as far as people in a relationship. No, because I feel like I'm
boundaries.
No, but I feel like I'm petty. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I love the idea of a tip, but I'm like, bitch, I gotta give you a tip. You better get the tip topping somewhere else, like, because I'm already irritated. You know what I mean? But.
Well, that is our adult tip of the day, to just bring the conversation to the forefront. And if anything else, even if these tips are not applicable to you, this is just a reminder to have that conversation with your friends. Like, hey, you do have a child. What ways can I show up for you? And then also, if you have a child, telling your friends like, hey, I know I be in mom mode and I'm doing this, but how can I, like, what matters to you? How can I show up? Just have the conversation. That's the adult tip of the day, because
it's really important too. I posted a screenshot. I was really, really overwhelmed this past week preparing to like come out here, and I had some personal stuff going on, and I posted on my stories because I texted my baby daddy and I was like, can you keep her this weekend? And he just responded no with a period. And I like posted in my stories and was talking my shit because professionally dissing my baby daddy is my thing. So I'm putting him on blast in my stories. And my homegirl saw the thing and she texted me and she said, I'm offering to be your baby daddy. You can drop Nyla off on Friday for the weekend. So like little things like that, you know what I mean? But also she has 3 kids. So, right. But
she love you.
Yeah, she does love me. But, we take turns taking each other's children. We take turns, making sure one another knows that we don't have to be like overwhelmed by like the role of motherhood.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So it reminded me of that.
All right.
So be like her. That's actually
be
Kathy.
like her.
Be like Kathy.
Creatives, podcasters, entrepreneurs, if you're looking for an amazing place to create consistent content, then you need to check out the Something Extraordinary Content House. Located in the heart of Atlanta, it's in a great location as well as only 15 minutes from the airport. So whether you're in town or not, maybe you need to get more serious about the content that you're creating. This is a great place to create something extraordinary because it's equipped with 5+ rooms with 2 kitchens, 2 living rooms, amazing energy, plus a host of vendors that are already the best in their field at creating content. So make sure that you check us out at semediagroup.co or check out some visuals and events and amazing things that we have going on over on Instagram at SE Content House. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon because we're going to get to creating some extraordinary content. All right, well, thank you for that. So we're going to move into the next segment is Twitter Talk. Twitter Talk is to pay homage to Black Twitter. Okay. Because Black Twitter, I know that so much has changed with it. And it is still around, but it's nothing like just like what it used to be and just what it stands for, because almost anything that go viral, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, it probably started from Twitter.
Yeah, or it ends up on Twitter. I can't grow my Twitter following to save my goddamn
Girl,
life.
when I tell you, that's a whole nother type of... what you could post on Facebook, what you could post on Instagram, what you post on TikTok, what you post on Twitter, those are all different things.
I just be happy when somebody be like, hey, your video on Twitter. I'm like, yeah, girl, because I can't figure out how to get my stuff going up on my own Twitter.
Well, today's Twitter Talk, and this is where we talk about like the mess or the tea or just trending topics or whatever. Our Twitter Talk today has been supplied by you.
Oh my God.
And so, y'all know what I'm gonna say? She's like, I don't know fuck. What did I do?
What the fuck?
No, this is a great topic though.
Okay.
So the other day you posted about the verifications on Instagram. And I thought this was a great topic, and it really challenged me as well.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, Instagram has it now, and a lot of the platforms are changing where you can buy your blue verification badge.
Yes, you can.
For me, one, I've had pages taken down. I've had impersonation pages. I'm sure you've, been there. And also I've been deep in this shit for years.
Right.
So I've been trying to get verified for years and never did. When they offered to charge for it, I immediately was like, well, why I gotta pay for it? I definitely had like a negative energy about it. Not towards anybody. I don't really care what anybody else do, but for me and me, I was like, look, I felt like it was less than if I had to pay for it. Mm-hmm. But Jessica made this post, and I just wanted to read it. Fun fact about the verification process is that people have been paying PR teams to get them in news articles and features that qualify them to be verified. The game has always been pay to play. Y'all are in shambles. Y'all are in shambles over accessibility. I have never paid for PR, but I remember years ago being so excited about one of my first features, and it was the Source magazine. Huge in the hip hop and entertainment world. Do you know how long it was? How long it wasn't even recognized as a credible placement, though? Why? Because racism. Black media has never been considered credible, and that's why so many people of color with huge followings, plenty of news coverage, couldn't get verified. Instead of deciding whether or not you want to pay for it, y'all are bashing people for participating in something that finally levels the playing field for creators of color because you don't even realize you share the same beliefs that these huge white corporations do about us. That we are not to be taken seriously. So instead of acting like y'all care so much about how much money Meta made, try caring about how many people are positively impacted by this. Like me, who's grown a following of over 900,000 across all socials, has been doing this content creation thing for almost 7 years, who's been on television, radio, news, talk that shit, has had multiple pages with people impersonating me and my child, and for the life of me couldn't get them to care. So yes, I pay $14.99 a month to have a blue check. If anybody wants to know, but anyone that feels like they wish they could tell who earned it, y'all can eat a dick. It was so inspirational and educational, and then she added Jessica on there, and we love that. Mm-hmm. So,
and then I plug my ebook at the end.
Yeah, and then she plugged the fuck out of that ebook. Oh, I saw one more slide. She said, don't keep sliding. But and my ebook about making money on social media is still on sale at the link in my bio. If y'all were monetizing all the ways you could be, you wouldn't be so pressed about this $4.99 12 times a year.
Okay.
And that's real. I even bought the ebook, like trying to get monetized, even if you have a following, or just using everything that you can to get everything you can out of it. But that's so real. I've been published. I've been on, I've done everything. 85 South, opened up for Essence, Issa Rae, things like that. But they don't, a lot of people don't consider it credible. But I put, I'm featured in Cosmopolitan. Now I get a little second. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's no shade, but it's about the fact that I do more things with people that look like me.
Exactly.
It's
like, I don't think people even understand, like I said, like with the Source magazine, how many huge publications like news, radio, even television networks that aren't recognized as being like credible placements prior to this rollout that could not get you verified.
Right.
The whole point of verification, no matter what anyone wants to say, is that nobody can mistake that any other page but your page is yours.
Absolutely.
So while I do understand people's sentiments about the oversaturation of it, because we did wake up and goddamn,
it was hella people verified. And it's like, I didn't know.
I get it. Like,
did you need to be verified? Or it does make your mind.
But then also, it's not nobody's goddamn business. Like, I do come from a place of privilege. I have a significant following. I am going to be one of the people that you're going to go to my page and you're not going to know whether or not I'm somebody that paid for whether or not I got verified, because I have a significant amount of followers, even though that's never really been what it's about.
Right.
There's people that before this whole rollout had 2,000 followers and were verified.
They are writer.
Yeah, because they have, things that Instagram deemed as being credible sources or being credible placements. And it's like, I just hate like when it's like the negative side of like something that's like a polarizing topic, because it gives pick me, because you just want to wake up and you want to be the person that says, well, I ain't never paying $14.99, baby. You don't got no reason to then.
And you got deals since then, since paying for things that you couldn't get access to before. Yeah.
100%. And like, it's more so for me, the reason that I paid the $14.99 is because right now I have several pages that are out there that are adding like an extra S to their name that have anywhere from 5 to like 20,000 followers. Yeah. And they're following people right after they follow me. So people are thinking, oh, she's following me back. Then they send them a message and then they click a link and buy something. And there's a part of me that honestly wants to say, babe, if you give somebody $100 through a link because you thought it was me, that's your own goddamn fault. It's 2023 and you should have had that shit figured out. But then there's the business side of me that's like, damn, that $100 could have been mine. Oh, I could have sold you some real shit and you could have been over here with me. So it's like, hell yeah, I'm going to pay $14.99 to make sure that this platform is regulating those pages and getting rid of them. I was being ignored. There was one day where I had over 2,000 people send a report on a fake page. Like my audience went out and was like, this is not her. This is weird. Take it down. Instagram told every single one of them.
I've had one of those follow me. One of your fake pages definitely follow. I'm like,
and Instagram literally said, hey, they're not violating any community guidelines by pretending to be you down to your story highlights. Even
with your child, which is really
with
the
my
creepy
child,
part.
and that irritates me.
Yeah.
And that's like my own thing, because like, there's things I'm gonna have to deal with, because there's something that comes with the playing field of like, I put my kid on the internet. Like, but everything isn't just fair game because of how I make a living. You know what I mean?
I'm supposed to be able to report it for impersonation, but yet you say it's not impersonation when you see it's impersonation. So you're literally ignoring me.
Because don't let me use a damn WFG song.
A song.
You're gonna be on it. You're gonna be on it real quick. Snatch it down.
Absolutely.
There's been times I've recorded an Instagram story with a movie playing in the back, and they're gonna snatch the sound off the damn story because they're like, you using Sony Music's.
That's the one I got the other day. But anyways. That was the Twitter talk for today, because I really want to get into these topics. I'm so excited, especially because you done dropped a gem about, not even a gem, the gem for her brand, making money off her baby daddy. And I'm like, I know somebody like, wait, what she do?
Right.
She dropped a little tidbit there. So, in this brand, and I just want to clarify, because people get so confused when they see clips.
Right.
And they think that that's how the sentence came out. You guys, this is a friendly reminder. When you see reels, they have been edited, which means we didn't change the words. We cut it to create entertainment, to show you a 1-minute snapshot of a 1-hour episode. Yep. So listen to the episode. With that being said, Jessica is an unconventional mother because her brand was started based and monetized off baby daddy tears, literally. And I want you to explain what that means.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go crazy into it because we have other things to talk about. But like,
No,
let
for
them
sure.
know like what you started, and we'll get into the all that stuff too.
Yeah, so I'm a single mom, and when I started my brand and my business, Shirley Had a Baby, I really wanted to initially just write, and then when I saw that video content just like got a significant amount more of attention, I really leaned into it, and I did so with parody raps, and the parody raps were about the struggles of being a single mom, and while my child was significantly annoying, my baby daddy was even more fucking annoying than that. And so a lot of the things that I would like rap about in my punchlines had to do with, poking fun at him. Like one of my biggest songs, I said, my baby daddy chill, but I'm gonna keep it real. We didn't work out because he don't pay bills, So like little jabs and stuff there, here and there. And as like my brand and my business has grown over the past couple of years, the concept of a baby daddy, like the baby daddy that I talk about is like everybody's baby daddy now. There's a dramatization to things that happen on the internet, whether people realize it or not. There's definitely a true source of inspiration out there. My baby daddy is out there getting on every single one of my nerves on a daily basis. But yeah, I sell cups that say baby daddy tears. I basically create content that is a humorous way of being able to like laugh at like the real life ways that motherhood be having us fucked up, honestly, the way our baby daddies put all of the responsibility on us. You know what I mean? The way that our baby daddies still try to hit even though they haven't paid child support yet. So telling all these different jokes here and there and creating a community of women that come to like laugh at it, because we're having like this collective experience, whether you're a wife or a ex-wife or a single mom by choice, whatever your circumstance is, we all have like these really unique experiences with being annoyed by the responsibility that comes with like being somebody's mom.
Yeah. But you can't talk about it because it's like my child is a gift and all these and like even and you know what, and I applaud your honesty because I know exactly what you're talking about. And I have my own struggles because of my background with my parents and the emotional, the physical, like abuse and things like that. Right. So it's like, I know how I felt, right? I also am aware that my child also got to deal with the fact that his mom would teach a dick sucking class and all this other stuff. So it's like, you got to pick how much trauma you're going to give. And it's like,
we're
even
all breaking our own curses that we can.
Right. And my purpose is different from yours. But even then I watch it, like even when like Trey does something annoying, like I watch my verbiage because I'm like, how is it being interpreted? What am I, you know what I'm saying? Like my parents used to say words that I've been in therapy to undo. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that that's necessarily your case, but I get the humor of it, and it feels good to also have somebody that can make jokes about something that I may not feel comfortable with saying, but I'm like, it's literally comedy. Yeah. And so I wanted to have you on just because so many people, I watch how people misinterpret the content, and I'm like, you guys are taking what she's saying literally.
And sometimes
it's literally a stand-up. Your shit is stand. Like I don't even know why you don't do stand-up at this point.
I know. I need to get into improv classes to try it out.
When you come back to Atlanta.
Also, people like misinterpreting stuff. Like, listen, y'all. When y'all are misinterpreting stuff and getting upset about it, just know that like my marketing strategy is working.
Is getting you once you talk about it. At the end of the day, you're gonna.
I'm sorry. Like I intentionally do stuff. I did a video the other day just taking off my makeup, and I started off the video by
telling
saying,
people you dirty.
I said, everybody that wears makeup is dirty as fuck. Y'all were pissed, and the video did great.
But it was so real because the whole video is 90 seconds of her using 40 wipes. And when I tell you I was screaming because I said, bro, this is not real life. You know, if you got
it's like
a full face of makeup on one, you about to keep that shit on all day because you know you about to have to wipe. Like the other day I had to like literally wipe off my skin to get all that makeup off.
And people's reaction was to be like, if you don't know how to take off makeup, just say that. Ain't nobody dirty because da-da-da-da-da. So it's a combination of that and then a combination of, people realizing it's a joke or thinking that it's funny. Or also some pretty helpful tips for how to get the makeup off a little bit more easily.
You was like, no, this really did help me.
So, I definitely can understand like why people get riled up about stuff like that. And especially when it comes to like the things that are being said, right? I also grew up in a very toxic parent mother-daughter specifically, you know, relationship dynamic. And there's only certain things that I can change, right? So I consider myself a gentle parent, even though I am someone that tells Nyla to shut the hell up, right?
I see that's as far as you go, but that'd be your line, right?
That'd be my line. That's my far thing. I'd be like, Nyla, shut the hell up. Like, that is like our going-to thing. But it's also my tone and the way that I say it. Like, it's something that Nyla laughs at. So
you
it's
can
like,
hear the
I know,
jokiness in your tone. It doesn't feel intimidating,
you know,
when you say
and
it.
even in the event that like I do like snap or lose it or go a little bit higher, which would not be for a video, but like in real life, me being frustrated, the biggest thing with my parenting is that I acknowledge, you know, when I do something wrong, I acknowledge it quickly and I apologize to my child. You know, I let her know, you know, hey, and not with a way that's making excuses. Like, if I'm like, hey, like, stop, or if I'm too much with it, it's not, you were doing this, it's, hey, you don't deserve to be talked to like that. And I'm overwhelmed, and that's why I did that. Can we try to do this way? It's all about the way that you phrase things, you know what I mean?
In real life. What y'all see online is the funniness is it's a job.
People were in shambles when, you know, I got on the internet, and whenever I get on the internet and I talk about, you know, the fact that I consider myself someone that regrets motherhood. I don't regret my daughter, but if I would have known what I know now about, honestly, this role of like being completely selfless and like I have my kids sitting outside right now on an iPad outside of this room because I'm constantly tapped into motherhood. It's just the role that I've been given, but people lose their mind when I say, had I known what I know now, I wouldn't have had kids. It's why I'm not going to have any more kids. People go crazy. But instead of realizing, wow, I grew up with a mother that felt the exact same way, but had no language to verbalize it. So instead used actions and passive aggressive things and was completely tapped out of her role altogether. Instead of acknowledging, hey, I'm having these feelings, let me actively work on them and make sure I'm taking an adequate amount of space and time for myself when and if I can to be a present mom. But instead people just want to say, how dare you say that? It's like, thank God I have the language to say that. You know what I mean? Thank God I have a voice that, you know, and a reach where there's hundreds of thousands of women that feel the same, that either are like, hey, now I don't feel so bad about deciding not to have kids because I've thought maybe I would feel like this, but everyone tells me that it's my sole purpose as a person with the fucking vagina to have a kid. Or on the other hand, there's moms that have kids that feel like this and feel like shit every day for feeling like that, instead of just accepting that it's okay to feel like that.
Then you can move past it.
Yeah, and then you can still be a good mom, actively working on it.
Hey, you guys, it's your host, Samia. If you're enjoying the topics over here, honestly, I think you'd love the topics over on my learning platform. I have some private interviews over there with some amazing guests. I've interviewed Mr. Marcus, yes, that's the porn star, Passion Jones, who brought on her husband and her boyfriend, and even had some girls' night conversations with Medina from Cocktails, as well as Mila from Good Moms Bad Choices. That conversation was amazing. We did some examples of our dirty talk, and let's just say you need to check it out. Don't just take my word for it. Make sure that you click the link below and sign up today. There are over 250 workshops, classes, interviews, and so much more. All right, now back to the show. So you know that was the statement that we was getting to.
Yeah.
And which was a lot of people, you know, going crazy because you're like, I regret motherhood. That doesn't mean that I regret my child.
Right.
But the experience was not what you wanted it to be. And I know my experience is a little different because I was married when I had my child. And I was never a kid person, period. I did not want kids. I love the idea of family and love and doing it together, but I never wanted to do it on my own, especially with the background that I have. I just felt like I would be just doing my child a disservice. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And so for me, it was, I don't say I regretted parenthood. I will say that I understand completely, right? And some of the parts that I regret are having a child with someone who didn't see me, whether we were married or not. And that's not like any shade to him or to myself. I was 22 when we got married. He thought what he thought. Like, I don't think he intentionally married me to fuck it up, like for us to fuck it up or that we didn't know. Like, none of that shit. But in the moment of me telling him that I was pregnant, and I could see that he was not happy about it, like almost like it was in that moment that I knew if I hadn't said I was pregnant, we would have our marriage probably would have ended sooner. But because of him trying to be the type of dad that he wanted to be and that type of man that takes care of, like, you know, your family doesn't leave their responsibilities, he was there and almost until I was out of postpartum, really, you know, close. But it was very difficult to watch everyone care about the baby more than me. It was difficult watching him not be engaged, like, or talk to my stomach or things like that. And then after the baby is born, it's not him loving the child in a way, and not talking about like, well, it's different the way you love your wife and you love your child, but I mean, you actually like this child and you don't like me. You know what I mean? And not like you think I'm a shitty ass person, but ultimately you don't care for how I do things, and you know what I'm saying? We're not compatible.
You want to know what's crazy is I made a video about this before, and I, of course, was destroyed for it as well. But one of the things that I always tell Nyla, Nyla asked me, Mommy, why aren't you and Daddy together? And I say, Daddy loves you the way he couldn't love me. That's why we're not together. You know what I mean?
That's a great response.
And it's like, I don't have a resentment for him anymore because of that, but I did. I remember those feelings of being like, oh my God, wow, like that's how you love, and you don't have that for me.
You don't have that. I feel like having a child made it more visible and made it more clear, but I also see why people think still having more kids makes it better and things like that. But also, I will say that I commend, and I always say this, I commend him for leaving. He did something that I couldn't do. I couldn't give up on it because it's like, I don't want that for my kid. I believe in forever, but also his boundaries for himself and just like, I'm not happy here.
Yeah.
Made a space for more respect. I will say though that one of the difficulties with parenthood for me is the fact that we parent differently. And I watch how other people benefit off like me being a hippie, polyamorous, free woman. So it's like, I think your new wife is amazing. Like, I love that for you. How can I, like, let me get you a gift? You know, like, what can I do type person versus like me, I'm more hippie. It's like, you know, sometimes I feel judgment the way that I work. Like, I don't come from anything. You know what I'm saying? I come from a crazy family karma. I come from molestation and drinking and alcoholism, and just things could be better. And so my gift to my child is this life that I'm trying to create of him something different and to leave him with something amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, before I started this business, I was like, hey, we should buy Trey some real estate. And he was against it. He was like, we don't have a house yet though. Like, and things like that. But you know me, I have a business degree. That is my thing. And afterwards, like, because I wanted to do sexual essentials, and I'm like, okay, you talking about sucking dick on the internet, make sure your kid is good first. And once we got divorced though, he came back later and was like, you know, thank you for having us do that. Like, you were right. Like, that felt good. But then now I've bought, you know, this well over $500,000 house. And you know what I'm saying? It was some really awkward moments in that. Like, one of the credit cards that I ran up like for decor was at $22,000. And he messaged me because, you know, so at one point we was on the same, you know, credit. So there was a mishap and he was still for some reason on the credit card. Now I've been living debt free for 3 years. So that wasn't a bother before, but now it's like, hey, this popped up. And it's like, it sucks because now I have to explain why I have a $22,000 debt. And it's like, well, I started this business. This is a part of the process. I have to get the fun. You know what I'm saying? Having, like, exposing myself to that type of vulnerability. I regret having to share my child. That's what I regret. I regret that I had this child that came out not breathing, not crying for 3 days. And then because we couldn't figure out our shit, I only have half of my child. I miss out on half of his life. Half of that time is not.
Baby. It's okay. It's still your time.
And I get it. And I know that his life is better for that.
Yeah.
Because he gets 2 happy parents. And that he deserves more than anything. And that wasn't intentional and things like that. But I've heard some of your interviews where you talk about you regret the anxiety that you have about your child now. Like, are you okay? Like, are you breathing? Like, do you know how many times I go into my kid nose? Like,
but I mean, speaking about sexual trauma and stuff, that's a big thing for me too. It's like, what's the threshold of how many times I've asked if, you know,
hey, this is a real show. Can a real nigga get some tissue? Y'all ain't gotta cut this out. But my face is slayed. Like, we got to keep it together.
You're a very pretty crier.
You know.
Okay.
Hey.
Listen, you got to get them at their vulnerable moments, y'all. That's how you really.
You are so inappropriate. You are so inappropriate. I love my job.
Oh my goodness. But no, you know, I have like this story about the first time that Nyla went to kindergarten, and I went to go pick her up from kindergarten, and I'm standing in the line with all the parents, and the door is open. And Nyla comes out, and I'm like, baby, how was school? And she was like, it was good. Nobody touched my vagina. And I was like, oh my God.
I didn't even consider that.
I'm like, how much do I ask you if somebody's touched your fucking vagina? You know, and it's that kind of anxiety because I'm so afraid that something bad is going to happen to my child. And yeah, that's the anxiousness, that's the anxiety, that's the constant worry. And, you know, speaking of unconventional motherhood, I'm like, oh my God, I love how much you love your son and how much you know, hate the 50-50 or the sharing, because in my head I'm sitting here, I'm like, bitch, I wish this nigga would take this girl for 50.
Let's talk about you know what? But you know what? It's always a double-edged sword, which is why I tell people listen to the entire episode, because you might catch me and it's like, damn, that's kind of scandalous or whatever. No,
but you don't know, and it's a spectrum of things.
And with my ex-husband, one thing that we say is, I may have picked the wrong partner, but I didn't pick the wrong person. And so for that, I tell people all the time, I'm not a single mother. I'm a mother that's single. And so I can't relate to the things that you go through, or like somebody not paying the bills. Like, he's always shown up. He's always, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And what I do love is that when it comes to our child, whatever we don't agree on, we keep it cool and calm, because we are both like, we are going to make this up to you.
Yeah.
We did something that we didn't know wasn't, like, that wasn't intentional, but...
It sounds like there's still a certain level of trust there that exists.
I trust
you know
him
what I mean?
as
there
a
has
parent.
to be.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what sucks, is I think that with her father, he is present, but I also feel like you don't get credit for doing what you're supposed to, and what he is supposed to do is pretty much the bare minimum. But I also don't trust his judgment. Like he would always say in the relationship, you know, you don't let me be a man. And it's because I feel like he's not.
Yeah. And also you're talking about a daughter. So it's like, if I can't trust your judgment with our daughter's
we've tried
safety.
things where he's had her more, and like little stuff has come up where it's like, I'm sure on his family side, they're like, oh, she's tripping. But no, my daughter came home once and said she saw your gun. She's never fucking sleeping over again. Like, and little
accidents
things
happen and things like you can't.
you know, it's too much stuff back to back. You know, I mean, like, another thing that happened was you left her home alone with all her boy cousins from ages 16 and down once, you know,
We
and
know
then
how that goes, how it can go.
And thankfully, you know, nothing happened. And it's not to say I feel any type of way
We
about
don't
his
set
sister's
up
kids or
we don't
anything.
do that though.
But it's just like the same fears and anxieties that I feel like keep her protected when she's with me. You know what I mean? Those inhibitions that are in place for a reason don't exist for him.
Yeah.
And because of that, I feel like I am the primary caretaker and the one responsible for stuff. You know what I mean? He don't know who her doctor is. He don't know what school she go to. You know what I mean? Little things that, granted, if he was consistently making an effort, I would have no choice but to like allow him to like be a part of that. But right now you got your little weekend shift. And then when I try to up it and I ask for things and I'm at my breaking point and I'm realizing, I can't do this. Can you help me? No.
Yeah.
So
when I tell you, I always make it very clear my marriage didn't work. But this parenthood thing, like I'm very grateful for the journey that I have. He shows up for like we show up to both doctor's appointments. We both show up to this. We show up to that.
That's beautiful.
But there is a level of guilt that our differences outside of the liking each other part. One of the huge differences is that he wanted, and I'm not gonna call it a simple life, but to live. You're a human being. You should be able to just be. And I respect that. But I know that's not my purpose. My purpose is to build things. And that means that I am a working mom. And so even having the sexual essentials page taken away, my goal was to my child not see me work after he turned 5. And I had did that goal last year. And then my Instagram got taken away and I had to rebuild. And so now my child sees me working again and his memory is there. Before, when I was building Sexual Essentials, I was breastfeeding and stuff like that. So he didn't remember those things. And I was like, I was grinding so hard because I was like, by the time he can remember, he can talk and all that stuff, he will see mom with freedom.
Right.
Now I'm back at work all the time. Like he came up here last weekend to work with me and the guilt, like, you know what I'm saying? And so we parent differently in that aspect, but I want to leave him with, so he has the choice to just be. Like my ex-husband, his parents left him with the choice to just be. They set him up, you know what I mean? Like, and I think they did a great job. And I want to do something like that for my child, at least from my part. I want to leave you something and not a dick sucking business, because that may not be what you want to do. I want to leave him with something. So there was that. But I will say that anxiety, that I already have anxiety, but anxieties, molestation, things like that. I think that because I have a son, people don't look at it the same. So like,
and they should.
Even the conversations around like my parents, like I don't deal with my parents because I don't miss them or that I don't love them, but generational patterns need to be broken. And it's not about just not touching the girls. It's about, you know, someone said to me, and I can't remember who said it, whether it was a parent or whether it was him. He was like, but Trey's a boy. I said, well, until they hit puberty, their bodies look almost the exact same. But secondly, you don't want to raise misogyny either.
Hello, because
this is a person that can now do something to what's okay and what we're allowed to say. So yes, he may not be a girl, but I'm not saying no, he can't be around them because he may get touched. But also, you're learning from a man who has validated these things. That matters as well. And so I want my son to be treated like a kid. I want him to be, you know what I'm saying, just as particular as you would be. Would you be okay with every situation? I said, would you be okay if this was a daughter?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like there have been things that have been difficult, but it's hard. Like one time she had him spend a night somewhere and I didn't know where he was. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, hey, you didn't tell me about that. And it's like, but also,
you're so much more mature than me.
But you know, and that's the thing.
The way my revoke access card.
No. I'm not. What I will say is this, and I the way I had the conversation, I thank God for growth, because in my marriage I didn't have this type of growth to save my marriage, and it created resentment, and I was absolutely wrong for so many things and the way I handled things in my marriage, which is a guilt that I have with my child. I regret that I wasn't as mature as I needed to be to save that marriage and keep you with a 2-parent household, right?
Right.
But also growth, which was, you know, hey, why did you do that? If you found out that if I had your son at a random person, you know what I'm saying, house, what would you do? Like, just for instance, and he was like, you know, we've seen so many people that parent and they get into it and they do all that, and I didn't want that. And I said, have I done anything to make you think that I would do that with our child? And I like the fact that he apologizes. Whether we see the eye to eye, he's like, you know what, you're right, and we can move on. And so it's been difficult even sharing some of those things, because I don't want people to have a negative. I'm not trying to. I'm not doing the baby daddy tears. That's not my brand.
You got me ready. I'm gonna text my baby daddy and apologize.
But also our situations are different, and I think I think that mothers need to also. I do get annoyed when people be like, I'm a single mom because da da da. I'm sorry, are you a single mom or are you a mom that's single? Don't do that. Yeah. Also, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I tell people, I correct people all the time. I'm not a single mother.
Well, let's also stop. Like, you know, even with the term single mom, like there was a time where I was like really on it, and I was like, I'm an independent mother because my relationship with my child has nothing to do with my relationship status. Like as far as like a sexual thing, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, it sounds like it's a healthy dynamic, a growing dynamic, and you guys realize that it doesn't work for y'all, but you know, it works for your son, which is a beautiful thing to see. And you know, baby daddy is involved. Like, you know, there have been times that we're getting along more. You know, he's helped me pack up baby daddy tears cups before. He's told me that he's proud of me for what I'm doing. We definitely have blocked each other so many times. You gave him some pussy after your broke up? Yeah.
So I will say that we didn't do that. When we split up, that was it.
I think I'm like...
You gave him how many times?
I'm like, Nyla's about to be 9, so I'm like 3 years free.
Okay.
But I've been talking shit for about 7. So...
And you was still giving up a little pussy on the side? You still giving a little pussy on the side?
I'm like...
The dick must be slapping.
Next.
No. Okay, so what does dating look like? And I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
One, what you be into? Like you a carpet muncher? You be sucking dick?
I mean,
what you be doing? Are we allowed to say that? Is that even appropriate to say anymore?
Like
I eat pussy and I'm not offended.
Is that a slur? I don't know. It's not a slur.
I'm not offended.
Whatever.
I eat coochie and all right.
Yeah. So I mean, I my sexual identity, I identify as being a queer person.
Okay.
I'm not attracted to men. I just haven't been in like a season of men. I haven't slept with a man in about 3 years. I've primarily slept with women or just anything that's not a cisgendered man.
Look here.
And yeah, like I am just like open. It's actually a complicated thing. I do feel like, as a person that's been dating women specifically for the past couple of years, I have a little bit of a fear about like if I do run across a man that I'm attracted to, that like somehow my identity as a queer person would be invalidated if I like ended up with a man in the long term, especially with like having a child, and trying to date women. It's like an automatic like showing that I'm not like a gold star, and they're like, did you do IVF? And it's like, no.
How did you have this child?
Wait till you see my Instagram. I make a living making fun of my baby daddy.
That was my second question.
Yeah.
Does talking about him, do you think that makes people insecure or feel like or miss? And I know that those people aren't for you if they don't get you.
I want to be clear too. Like I don't like my brand is not just talking about my baby daddy.
Right,
My brand is talking about motherhood, and there's just like some key funny stuff that happens to do really well when it's about my baby daddy. It's not like all that I do.
Right.
But I don't think that bothers people. I think what bothers people the most is that I'm very much somebody that I could be sprung and you still not ever gonna get posted. So that's really a thing. I think just being on social media and that being my job at all makes like the dynamics of like
it's not just the
dating like complicated, especially getting to know each other. I'm in LA and I'm also fat, so I just feel like I'm not your prime like pick out there. First of all,
people
they don't like big girls.
If you're bigger than I went out there and they don't. Look my way. I be really
having to sit with myself when I be seeing, the people that are interested. I'm like, what the hell, man? You know what I mean? These are my options. So let me stick beside myself. But, I have to be careful because if I want to make sure that people's intentions are genuine. So if anything, I don't think social media and what I do leads people away as much as it may get people more interested in being around for not the right reasons. But yeah, I mean, I think that, ultimately I'm interested in women right now.
I feel that.
I mean, I'm off the market anyway because we go together now.
I know, but I'm poly, so you got to get with it.
Okay. So
she like,
thanks for
you saw that energy.
Cut the cameras.
Are we broken up?
Cut the camera.
It's our first fight.
It's our first fight.
Let's be mature.
Listen, I'll be revoking accent. You ain't never going to see Nyla again.
She'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back. And honestly, and I just want to take a moment to give you your flowers because I want to be very clear. First of all, I don't bring people on here to just do one thing. I bring people on here that are like, they're everything. And Jessica is a businesswoman. She's opening the door and having these conversations. I'm talking about with money figures, like in her ebook saying like, this how much you can ask for, this how you can change this, and like literally the breakdown. She's being honest about motherhood. There are plenty of people talking about the flowers and beautifulness of all that other shit, but also that acknowledging what you feel, even if it's something that you don't want to feel, releases so much. And the way that she does that and just can make humor out of it. And this girl is a comedian, bro. Like somebody sign her. Like I love her, and I feel so grateful that you just even brought your energy to my space.
Thank you.
And I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
And so please don't change a thing. Like you a bad bitch, and I'm fucking with that. I love a good bad bitch. Y'all know this. Hey, you guys, it's your host Samia. And for those of you who didn't know, I'm also the CEO and founder of Sexual Essentials. One of my favorite parts about building that brand was creating a learning platform that has over 250 workshops, interviews, and so much more. Some of my favorite components are the sex position demos. Yes, you heard that right. Demos. They're featuring some people that you may already know. Good Moms Bad Choices has demonstrated some positions for us, as well as Dara. You remember her from our first episode. Those are some of my faves, as well as the lingam and yoni massages. These are great additions to add to your oral loving for your partner. Yes, I said oral loving. I'm trying to keep it clean, guys. Anyways, they are great additions and a great way to spice things up. Outside of our master classes, add one of these on to your normal routine and really wow your partner. Click the link below or in any of the links in our bio and sign up for our courses today. All right, now back to the show. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and start wrapping up this thing. This is an amazing. I can't believe you got me crying on my own goddamn show.
Listen.
That's crazy. You know, you pulled that up out of me. You know, that's good for us that I can be vulnerable around you. That's good.
Oh, you safe here.
She said, you know why they being vulnerable. This is the best time. That's wild. Okay. Anyways, let's get into the advice. The advice is slowly going into the sex tip of the day. So slowly but surely. So because this is not just another sex podcast, y'all know where I started with sexual essentials. Today's sex tip of the day is disinfecting them fingers before you put them in people, because, you know, we do the things, but I felt like this is a great all around inclusive topic. So let's talk about it. First of all, you know, we had the clickety clacks, bad bitches back, but I don't put my fingers in nobody's mouth. If I know that I'm getting, you know what I'm saying, I'm about to do some of that, I'm gonna bleach these fingers. Like, I'm gonna get under there with the brush. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like really gonna disinfect my fingers.
When you saw
like,
bleach, I just saw a bottle of Clorox and you just going like this.
Like acetone. And I know that that's not necessarily like something you want in somebody's coochie, but it's a process. I'm just saying I take the brush and I, you know what I'm saying, I get really good under my nails. Also, I use I have a fem wash, a yoni wash. It's on our website, but I use that with my hands as well. Fellas, like when y'all wash your hands, first of all, make sure that you cut your nails. Please don't keep your
and
blunt
please stop
rolling
like this.
That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother class.
Only niggas.
Women don't do that.
No.
So I'm going to talk. My sex tip of the day is to please clean your fingers, because you don't, especially like if y'all smoke. It ain't no knock to that. Like, I understand, but please do not put your, you know, drug rolling finger in my coochie. You know what I'm saying? And and ladies, make sure that you watch these things. Do not worry about feeling uncomfortable. Like, oh, well, this is awkward. It is your coochie. You should be able to be like, hey, can you go do this to your fingers? Or like, hey, did you, you know, scrub under your nails? It doesn't mean that somebody even nasty or dirty. I'm just saying that, you know, I mean, when you wash your hands, you're supposed to be getting under there. But anyways, the sex tip of the day is to disinfect them fingers before you put it in somebody.
I love that.
Vagina. All right. So yeah, and that goes for the ladies, for the fellas, for the whatever.
It's been a while. Just so you know, I usually get.
Just so I know.
Just so you know. I usually don't have. And if I have a full set, I usually get the ones that I don't need.
You know, which ones? Because you know, some people are like this.
This or this. These two. Either these or these.
I will say, I think that putting them in. Y'all make sure y'all watching my visuals on YouTube. They come with something amazing.
Make this easier.
Yeah, I think it's sexier when you do these two fingers and a little shorter. Look. First of all, I ain't gonna lie to you. Depending on where I go, I do some crazy shit like that. Like, go ahead and get these two lower. But I haven't been. I've been on a little drought.
Same.
So, you know, if things gotta change,
I fly out tomorrow. So.
Damn, she put that out there. Pressure. Can I get a meal? You was not about to swoon me about my drawers. She like, dang, I gotta do that.
The content house yesterday.
You ate. Now let's eat. Okay, no, for real, they gonna kick us off the internet.
I love you.
I already had you on there. I'm well on my way. Look, I'm so excited. All right, and then our last tip of the day. Oh, make sure you guys log on to Patreon, y'all. It's 250 plus classes, workshops, all that stuff. So if you're trying to actually learn how to properly finger somebody or like give a yoni massage, like those are different ways to enhance. Oh wow. That's pulling that nut up out of you. Like, it's amazing. Like, and you could do it to yourself. You could do it to somebody. Like, have you ever felt like somebody pulled the nut up out of you?
No.
What?
I've only had someone leave it there, and then I had a baby.
Yo, that's one we did not talk about. Let's talk about all the people that have children that never had an orgasm. That's really how I made the bulk of my money. My masturbation and squirting class, the foreplay and vaginal orgasm class. The foreplay and vaginal orgasm class is on Patreon. And I made that class because I was like, a lot of y'all have children and have never had an orgasm. And y'all so immune that you don't even realize how crazy that is. Could you imagine a man like not even like being like, oh, I don't want to finish, and then she get pregnant?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's wild. So, anyways, make sure y'all sign up for the Patreon. The link is below. And even though they was hating and took away our Sexual Essentials Instagram page, everybody has been added back to the Not Just Another Sex Podcast page. That's where we close friends. And I'm going to have to add you.
Yeah.
I ain't flashing no titties or nothing on there, y'all. So please stop. That's for text. You got our message.
Oh, yeah.
Invisible. All right, so our spiritual tip of the day.
That should be the parent tip if you're going to send something.
First of all, invisible ink
invisible
that thing.
ink.
All right. So the spiritual tip of the day is another reading one. I'm just going to read straight through it because this hit so real for me. Mm-hmm. No one ever... The spiritual tip of the day is where we talk about... I'm a hippie bitch. I'm a witchy bitch. The universe and all that stuff, and I believe in God, I believe in higher powers, different things, but you got to be crazy if you don't think that this world got something else going on that you ain't got no control over.
Right.
And so the spiritual tip of the day is to educate just a little bit at a time, or either put you in a space of thinking about things in a different angle that's more spiritual than just religious. And your spirituality can be a religion. A religion is just something that you do that's a pattern habitually to, whatever. So that can range from tarot cards to crystals to astrology or whatever. And sometimes it's just like a spiritual message. Today is a spiritual message. This was her Twitter is @womanofthewomb. I don't know her personally, but I love this message. No one ever talks about the amount of work you have to do to regulate your nervous system when you are manifesting and reaching new levels in your life that you've never been before. At its core, I think self-sabotage is really an inability to regulate our nervous system when we're presented with new opportunities that we know will drastically change our reality. Even if it's a change that we've been asking for, we shy away from it because this newness puts our body into fight or flight mode. Your body is already familiar with the way things are, and the unfamiliarity of this new space you're in or that you're being presented with can be scary. It's not that you're trying to self-sabotage. It's a response from the body's nervous system trying to protect itself. This is why your spiritual practice is important, because these are the tools you will consistently have to come back to as you navigate through life's inevitable shifts and changes. You need a practice that can help ground you and bring you back to center. Yes. So there were a couple of the slides of people responding. Someone said this conversation is so necessary. And she replied, yes, especially because it also makes it difficult to actually be present in the moment and enjoy this new reality. If the nervous system is in survival mode, it needs to be properly regulated to even accept that this is a new reality. And then she gives some suggestions about yoga, meditation, journaling, exercise, more time in the light, proper nutrition, rest, and learning to breathe properly. And we've talked about all of these so far on the spiritual tip of the day, if not more. Right. And I know that they seem boring and they may seem difficult to get in a habit of, because it's a thing where you have to put the effort out there first and then the rewards come later. And you're like, oh, dang, that's been helping me. You didn't realize. Versus when you eat a donut, it feels gratifying right there instantly. Versus yoga, it's like, why am I doing this? But then when you're not a hunchback in 40 years, you're like, I'm so glad I did that yoga. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes the grounding things are just things that bring you back to not worrying about the situation or what's going on. Ground you just to say, okay, all these things are happening, but I need to be here right now. Mm-hmm. It's not about the past, not about the present. And also you worked for this. So don't worry. And I know that I have self-sabotaging techniques, and I usually do it through a level of dating and dick. Right. And I'm not doing that anymore. It's like,
no, you're not.
You know what I'm saying? She's like, no, you ain't. 2 fingers.
It's crazy how not present I am about certain stuff, though. It's like you talking all this, and then you said hunchback, and I'm like, let me sit up straight. And I've been thinking about the word hunchback since you said that. It's like it's an active participation in your own mind. Like you have to constantly be telling yourself, let it go, let's talk. Self-regulation is crazy. That's why we do all our self-destructive habits, like eating.
Yeah. And it's like, why am I doing what I'm doing? And it's like, that could be crazy in itself. Always reflecting on why you're doing what you're doing could make you super obsessive. But for me, I've been so intentional about my healing and doing so much in a small amount of time that I've had to be this way. And so, I'm definitely that type A personality that's really controlling and particular and things like that. But also the work that I've done in 5 years, this is 20 years of work that I've done in 5 years. And so, yes, I have to be this way because I'm trying to play catch up, But with all that said and done, I hope that y'all enjoy that post. So thank you, Miss Mamas, for that and for talking and sharing that. Love your page. But please tell everyone where they can find you.
Absolutely.
All of that. The ebook.
I'll
run it off. You know how to do it. Okay. You know what to do.
Y'all can tap in with me on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, as well as TikTok at This Is Jessica Rose for all of my video content. If you want to try to help me get to some kind of following on Twitter at This Is Jess Rose, because I, for some reason, can't get that full handle. Yeah. Also, my digital product, What I Wish I Knew Before Followers, that is teaching y'all how to make money on social media and asking for brands for the race that you deserve, is available on www.shereallyhadababy.com. So make sure you guys check that out, as well as my own podcast that I shot here at the SE Content House. It is She Really Had a Baby on all major streaming platforms. So make sure that you share, like, subscribe, comment, send me a DM. And I also sell cups that say Baby Daddy Tears. So make sure you get your orders in for that as well. But thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming out. This was an amazing episode. I cannot believe you didn't have the waterworks flowing. I hope you do that all the time. And if you guys are seeing this, it's because one, what you said? I set you up for an alley-oop and you took it.
No, I missed it.
You missed it.
That's why I'm laughing.
Oh, I'm like, yeah, you set me up. You got the waterworks out of me. I hope you do that all the time. Oh, yeah.
Baby outside.
I'm sorry. Let's be appropriate. All right. So if you're watching this episode 1, that means that you're watching it on YouTube, y'all. These visuals are free. If you want to keep them that way, then watch them. Otherwise, we could just move them on to Patreon if you ain't fucking with it. But look how good I look. I've been getting dressed up for me, but for y'all. So it's really for her to let these niggas know. Okay. So I hope that you guys are enjoying it. I'm having so much fun playing dress up and all this other stuff. But we are in the Canvas room today at the Something Extraordinary Content House, and we are officially open. We opened on my birthday, April 14th, and so we are accepting bookings. Use the link in our bio. Read the directions. If you're confused or don't see a booking link or something like that, just DM us. But the prices and the Google Forms and stuff are there. We are accepting bookings. This is the Canvas room. This is just one side of this room. I think the wood just look real good next to me. You know what I'm saying? To this skin, to us. Get me together. Hold my hand here. To get for us. So thank y'all so much. For the love, the support. Please make sure that you share, rate, and review. Tell a friend to tell a friend. That costs absolutely nothing. So if you support this is completely free, something I'm doing because it's my purpose, but it has to be worth it. So please just share, tell a friend, sign up for Patreon. All of the links for our guests, myself, and the Content House will be below. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Bye.